I want to tell you a story. I'm at work and I can't remember if it was before work or after work. It wouldn't have been after work. Before work or when I was on my lunch break or something. I was sitting in the actual staff room, the break room, and I was doing what I normally do, which is either reading or I have my laptop out working on stuff to do with YouTube or anything like that, right? Something productive. And I noticed this, and I had noticed it a few times, but I think this was the first time I properly noticed it, which was my co-workers, when they would come in and sit on their break. None of them are like me. I don't think nobody had a laptop, nobody was reading a book. They would more or less all do the same thing, which was just have their phone out and just scroll for 15, 20, 30 minutes, however long the break was. They just sit there and scroll, and maybe they crack open an energy drink, maybe they eat something unhealthy, maybe they just eat their lunch as well, but that's what they do, more or less. They would just phone out just the entire time. And it made me realize something very, very interesting, which was most people who have goals that they haven't achieved, that's a bad way of putting it. Most people who don't like their lives because they're not actually working on their goals, they're not doing anything productive, they would actually rather numb the pain with bad habits, things like scrolling, scrolling, energy drinks, junk food, video games, anything like that. Anything that's a bad instant gratification habit that makes you feel good. Most people these days, especially people our age, which is, who these videos are targeted at, most people would rather do that than actually change their life. And I call it the instant gratification trap. I have actually made a video on it before, but I'm going to make another video on it because I understand it a lot better now. So forget the other video, watch this one. And I actually talk about this in my book, by the way, if you want to check it out, link in the description. But the instant gratification trap is as follows. By the way, if you don't know what instant gratification is, it's any habit, anything that feels good right now. It's pleasurable, it's high dopamine, it's stimulating, it's addictive, it's exciting. It's any of those things, but they're not necessarily good for you. So think anything that's kind of bad for you, that's easy to do. So junk food. And junk food's probably one of the lesser bad ones, but junk food, content consumption, scrolling, social media, video games, hard drugs would be the most extreme example, but you get the picture, right? Anything that's bad for you, that's hanging out with friends you don't really like because they're partying, it's not good for you, you don't really want to be there, but it's, fear of missing out, etc. Things like that are instant gratification. Delayed gratification is the opposite. It's things that are good for your future self, but they're maybe not as stimulating or addictive right now. They can still be fun. Like the gym is an example. I actually quite enjoy the gym now, but especially when you're a beginner, they take some discipline because they're lower dopamine. So gym, any form of exercise actually, reading, learning, working on a passion project, meditating, stretching, anything that has a future return on investment that isn't necessarily stimulating right now is a delayed gratification habit. So now that we've got that out of the way, you understand what that is, let's talk about the instant gratification trap, which is the point of this video, and it's very, very important for you to understand. The instant gratification trap is basically this. You have a low enjoyment of life, as I think a lot of people our age do. They don't particularly like their lives. They don't have many goals, or any goals usually. They don't have a purpose they're working towards. They're just kind of existing, and it's not particularly pleasurable. Maybe their life's like a 4 out of 10 or a 3 out of 10 or something like that. Instead of actually doing the delayed gratification and the goal setting and the things that are going to improve their life and slingshot it forward, they choose to just indulge in instant gratification. And what that does is this. Say your life is a 3 out of 10, 10 being the most awesome life, 0 being Auschwitz, right? Your life is, that's a bit extreme. I don't think you would have a 3 out of 10 life. Let's just say 0 is like a very, very shit life, and you're at a 3 because it's pretty damn boring and you don't really do anything and you don't see your friends that often and that kind of thing. Let's just say it's a 3 out of 10. Forget anything about Auschwitz before this video gets demonetized. 3 out of 10 life, right? But you do a bunch of bad habits. You scroll, you drink energy drinks on your lunch break, you do all these things that aren't particularly good for you. They're definitely not good for your future self. You're not getting better as a person, but they're fun, they're addictive, they give you dopamine. So you do these things. What that does, right, is it artificially, my fucking hair's gonna go everywhere. It artificially raises your life enjoyment from 3 out of 10 to, let's say, 4.5 out of 10. you're still living a 3 out of 10 life, but because you're doing so many bad habits that are so pleasurable, energy drinks every day, scrolling for hours every day, you've got a 4-hour screen time. That's not even that bad. You've probably got like a 7-hour screen time. That is artificially in like a dirty, degenerate, subhuman way, raising the quality of your life. You know what I mean? Like, not really. It's raising your life enjoyment to a 4.5 out of 10 instead of a 3. Even though it's bad for you, even though it makes you a worse person, it's a little bit more bearable because you're doing all of these bad habits to make you feel good. Here's the problem though, and here's why it's called a trap and not just instant gratification. I call this the instant gratification trap. Because you've artificially made your life slightly more pleasurable, you are now more complacent. It is more difficult for you to actually improve your life. There is one way you're going to improve your life that has nothing to do with scrolling or energy drinks or anything that's bad for your health, that's bad for your self-improvement journey, effectively. The only way you are actually going to improve your life to get from a 3 to something higher is through self-improvement. It's through delayed gratification, it's through goal setting, it's through hard work and discipline and all of these other things, right? Because you've artificially raised your life quality, you are now less likely to actually do the good things that are going to improve your life. Think about it. Imagine for a second you've got a 0 out of 10 life, you're locked in jail. You know, that would probably be less than 0 out of 10. Like, it would be in the negative numbers because, you know, we're trying to scale it here. Let's just say 0 out of 10 life, you're in jail. You would probably literally risk death to escape that, because, like, if you're locked in solitary confinement, there's not really... Like, it can get worse than that, but that's pretty bad, right? The things that you would do to escape that would be monumental. You would do all kinds of things to escape that, right? But the moment your life gets better, the moment you move out of solitary into, like, you know, a cell, then maybe you're not even in a cell, maybe you're just in like a maze or on a style maze, then, you know, maybe, let's just say it gets better and better from that. The better it is, the less likely you are to take extreme action to improve your life. And that sort of analogy actually applies to normal people as well, who just live normal lives. The more instant gratification habits you do, the more complacent you get, the more lazy you get, the less likely, someone's gonna clip that. The less likely you are to actually improve your life. And not just that, there's actually a second thing that happens. And if you understand what this second thing is, pause the video and comment below. The second thing, and hit subscribe, please. I'm gonna have to edit that out. The second thing that happens when you're in the instant gratification trap isn't just that you become more complacent because you artificially improve how much you enjoy your life. You actually become a worse person. When you're indulging in instant gratification habits, they're not just giving you dopamine, they are objectively making you a worse person. If you're eating extremely unhealthy meals, you're not exercising, you're not learning, you're just scrolling and giving yourself, like, watching brain rot content, destroying your focus, you're becoming a more unhealthy person, you're becoming a less happy person, you're becoming a less productive person, you're probably becoming a stupider person as well. Being radicalized on social media, watching dumb shit, right? That is making you a worse person. So even though your artificial life enjoyment might have moved from a 3 to a 4.5 out of 10, which makes you complacent, you're actually dropping below a 3. Maybe after a few months of this or a year of this, you're no longer at a 3, you're at a 2.5. And the numbers are arbitrary, but you get what I mean. You've actually worsened your life because your social skills are worse, you're less attractive to the opposite sex, you don't feel as good in your own body because you're more unhealthy, your mental health is worse, you have no goals, you're losing hope for the future. You're actually making your life worse by being in the instant gratification trap. And I understand, because it's a difficult thing to avoid, and most people do it. That was why I told a story at the start of this video. That's what most people do our age, because they don't have goals, they have very low hope for the future, they don't think it's going to pay off, they don't have any growth mindset or individual agency where they think they can control their own life and achieve the things they actually want to. And so what do? They just indulge in instant gratification because that's the next best thing. You might as well feel good. And no, you might not as well feel good. That's a terrible idea. What you guys should be doing, and if you're watching this, by the way, and you're like, ah, shit, I kind of do that. Good. That's a good realization to have. That's the first step of actually getting out of the instant gratification trap. It's to realize that the person I'm talking about in this video is you watching this. That's one of the most beneficial things you can realize. But the thing you need to do to break out of the instant gratification trap is to stop numbing Stop numbing the pain of your life with things that aren't even good for you and make you a worse person. What you should be doing is setting goals, it's delaying gratification, it's doing good habits, it's being a productive person, and actually improving your life in ways that are going to actually make your life better. I'm not talking about artificially raising your life quality because you stimulate yourself with dopamine 4 hours a night and you get terrible sleep. I mean, actually doing things that make you a better person, like getting in better shape, improving your mental health, learning a language, learning new skills, working on a goal, anything, just anything that's for another video, delayed gratification habits, but anything that's going to make you a better, happier person. That's what you should be investing your time into. And you can't really do both. You can't numb the pain of a life you don't like with bad habits and simultaneously be the best version of you. There is sort of like, obviously there's like, it's a spectrum. You can move between them. It's going to take a bit of time to move between being a degenerate and being someone who's constantly very, very purposeful and doing all the good habits. You don't just flick between them. It takes work to do. And nobody's all the way there. It's sort of like infinity and negative infinity. No one can be perfect, but you can always try and be a better person and move towards the positive side of the spectrum. So here's what you should do right now. If you're that person in the instant gratification trap, or even if you're not, I'm going to do this too, because you can always become a better person. It's to actually grab a pen and paper. I just whacked the microphone. Sorry if that hurt your ears. Grab a pen and paper or a notebook or something. And I want you to just journal about the kind of person you are right now. Journal about the things that you don't like about yourself. Journal about what you wish you could do, what goals, what would you have by the end of this year if you could snap your fingers and have something right now. What would it be? What would actually make you feel purposeful? And then start taking steps to actually achieving that. Purpose and stuff is for another video. And by the way, if you're interested in that kind of thing and this video makes a lot of sense to you, I'd highly recommend you actually check out my ebook, The Subhuman Generation, in the description below. But effectively, you need to start taking steps to actually improve your life instead of just artificially inflating your enjoyment through dopamine. That's the point of this video. So don't be like, and this isn't all of the co-workers I've ever had. This is just, unfortunately, probably more than 50%. Just don't be like that. If you don't like something about your life, chances are it's something you can fix. Maybe it's your job, for example. Don't just do nothing and try and make yourself feel good, because that doesn't make the problem go away. At some point, you're going to have to do something to change it. Unless you just want to descend into a worse and worse human being, into a subhuman who does absolutely nothing productive. So that's the video, guys. I hope you take something from that. I hope you try and become a better person because of that. Hit the subscribe button, Instagram in the description, ebook in the description. Feel free to message me. I respond to everyone. Don't let them win.